Thanks and welcome to the 650 News with me, Kejang Henry Atimbi. And let's flag off with our top stories. Despite assurances from Energy Minister of a rapid supply to cushion the effect of fuel shortage, the status quo remains the same. And 8 workers drilled on the Kampala Convention to protect internally displaced persons. They are in DOUALA to grapple with the international instruments on vulnerable persons. Christmas is around the corner, and so markets are flooded with Christmas gadgets as we are going together in this edition of the news. First, our top stories, the news in a jiffy. I'm Kejang Henry Atimbi, and of course you can get to us through our social media handles on Canal International, on YouTube and on Facebook. Now we flag off from Yaoundé, where Cameroonians in major cities are still frustrated by the prevailing fuel scarcity. Most vehicles and motorbikes remain grounded 48 hours after shortage hit the nation. And so in Yaoundé, very few stations have so far received supplies, and we are getting information from our correspondent in the central region, Haisinchir, that these supplies cannot satisfy the demand.
This is the atmosphere at the few filling stations that have little fuel this Tuesday in Yaoundé. Thousands of people rushing to get the precious liquid for their dry tanks. Few minutes after the arrival of a fuel truck in this filling station, the alert went like wildfire and the hungry consumers came running with containers. The heavy pressure on the workers couldn't permit them distribute as usual. Even when the workers took to strategic positions, like standing on the vehicles to discipline the drivers and the riders, all appeared impatient after an intensive search for over 2 days. The massive turnout even discourages some to wait for their turn.
Hey, this situation don't pass me. I'm really uncomfortable. Since yesterday we've been trying to get fuel. The whole place is still blocked. People are coming with gallons. I can't even go with my car. I'll be forced to park my car somewhere else and move with my leg because there's no means. So even the Besinkine, they have occupied everywhere. So it's very terrible.
Me, I know the year my head for this country because all things, petrol no day, electricity no day, road no day. Me, I do how? I get family. I'll do how? All things no day. I dey trap. Now me, I dey car motor. I get motor. My cabin no day. I do how? Small petrol don't come here. All people wait there. You know, forget them. Me, I know say I no forget them because that petrol will come is small, over small.
Meantime, the transportation fare keeps skyrocketing. Many Yaoundé city dwellers prefer trekking over long distances rather than standing for hours at the same spot, waiting for a taxi or a motorbike.
And the atmosphere was extremely tensed around the filling stations in Cameroon's economic capital, DOUALA, as the scramble for fuel almost led to an
Angered and frustrated, this motorist has been struggling to push his bike from one filling station to another in search of fuel. After touring 5 filling stations, he could not still lay hands on the precious liquid. He is helpless. Yet, I don't have fuel. It is the same frustration faced by these other motorists. He succeeded to get just a little, from which he confesses cannot take him any further. It can't even help me. Who have fuel? As we drive around DOUALA, we met fleets and motorbikes still scrambling. Some told me off cameras they slept in filling stations but could not still get fuel. Fuel scarcity remains critical, frustrating even passengers even more this Tuesday as transportation cost keeps galloping. I still paid high transportation. People have taken advantage of the situation. Some filling stations are completely dry, which is clear indication they have not refilled tanks. While some continue with the rationing techniques, others give fuel just to faithful customers.
Acquire the liquid, it is the whole economy of Nkongsamba.
For almost a month, motorists in Nkongsamba have been hunting for fuel to no avail. All the filling stations have run dry. The queue is long and fuel is saved based on affectionate relations. Like this one to buy because the petrol stations are saturated. There is no fuel here and I'm unable to make 5,000 francs by the end of the day. And things will be worse than this. We pray that the head of state can address this situation before the end of year.
Information and the United Nations Kampala Convention to grapple with the instruments.
There are more than 1 million internally displaced persons in Cameroon. The number keeps increasing as a result of the socio-political crisis in the northwest and southwest regions, the Boko Haram insurgency in the northern regions, natural disasters, and absence of resources. These internally displaced persons are usually subjected to violence and other forms of maltreatment.
In Cameroon, there is currently more than 1 million IDPs and more than 600,000 returnees. The conflict is mainly, displacement are mainly in the far north and the northwest, southwest, but it also impacts the littoral, the west and the south with Yaoundé and Cameroon, because the more people are displaced and the more they are moving and trying to reach safe and secure place.
When people displace themselves within a country because of armed violence, I mean, they usually have needs and there are consequences for them because they live without any food, and sometimes they have no shelters, they leave actually their documentation behind them, so there's many consequences for them legally, physically and mentally as well. So their needs must be covered and they need to be protected.
Reason these stakeholders in humanitarian aid and disaster response are meeting in DOUALA, Cameroon for 2 days beginning December 12, 2023 to deliberate on the stakes on domestication of the African Union Convention on the Protection and Assistance of Internally Displaced Persons in Africa.
This workshop is mainly to adopt a national legal framework to ensure
the African Union actually Kampala Convention, which offer that kind of protection to the internally displaced persons. Now it's up to each state to internalize, domesticate, internalize that convention and adjust their legal framework in order to make sure that those kind of people, these categories of people, are better protected.
The minister delegates at the Ministry of Justice and keeper of the seals, Momo Jean de Dieu, said Cameroon has already ratified the Kampala Convention and expressed hopes that stakeholders afield will implement the clauses in order to enhance the quality of life of internally displaced persons in Cameroon.
Thanks very much. Ambo Gladys reporting there. And experts from French-based multi-technical agency Limoges are in Cameroon to empower young people with exquisite quality and specialized vocational training. In partnership with the Ministry of Vocational Training and Employment, they are working with the Cameroon's Businessmen Association, GICAM, to make sure they empower these young people to come out from their training career reading. And once more, Ambo Gladys.
Young people in Cameroon are increasingly facing difficulties integrating the professional world as most lack the practical skills needed by enterprises. An innovative approach to vocational training is therefore imperative for Cameroon's emergence.
To build be emerging in 2035. To do this, we need vocational training. We need to empower Cameroonians. We need to give them the trade necessary for industrialization of the nation, import substitution, and all human activity indispensable for the growth and development of our nation.
To overcome these difficulties, CFA France experts from the Limoges Academy in France are in Cameroon for 1 week beginning December 8, 2023 to seek ways through which they could explore meaningful and impactful partnerships. From the Cameroon's Employers Association, GICAM, to the Professional Excellence Training Center and the Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Crafts, the Limoges delegation gained insights on the specific needs of trainees in Cameroon and how their expertise could match with these needs.
They came here to make a concrete proposal which consists of training Cameroonian not only classical and ordinary way that we used to doing it, but through apprenticeship, not internship, apprenticeship. This is new, something new, that to meet this objective, you need to involve an enterprises. You need to involve a learner, an apprentice. You need to involve a teacher, a trainer.
From the innovations, the minister said trainees stand a better chance of being integrated.
And after a long delay, the budgetary session of the Northwest Regional Assembly began slightly before 2 p.m. yesterday, Monday. For 3 days, divisional councillors and members of the House of Chiefs will brainstorm on precise areas where the 5.6 billion francs CFA projected amount is going to be spent. Our Northwest Regional Bureau Chief Correspondent, Annie Collins, is sitting through that budgetary session.
The 13th ordinary session of the Northwest Regional Assembly entered day 2 this Tuesday, December 12, 2023 in Bamenda. Opening the meeting on Monday, the President, Fru Angwafo III, said the Assembly was forging ahead with the decentralization process, with some ministries devolving more competencies and finances.
We are focusing on secondary education, where we had some monies, health, environment, leisure, tourism, and the roads. So these are the people who sent some monies for us.
As representative of the states, Governor Adolphe Lafrique cautioned councillors to have the people at heart while deliberating on the budget.
We need to encourage every stakeholder, rural councillors, give their best as contribution. Keeping in mind the interests of the population of Northwest region, we are all called to serve while also avoiding hate.
But the opening ceremony suffered a close to 5-hour delay, and with no explanation given to the regional councillors, it was an opportunity for speculations and allegations as the President and the Executive Council were locked in a pre-session meeting which dragged on right from Sunday.
Rumor has it that REC wants to violate the laws of the land by reducing the sessions. That REC has budgeted for 3 sessions in 2024, whereas the laws, the 2019 law on the local collectivity, in its vital sessions with the standing orders, they say the Regional Assembly has to have 4 ordinary sessions in the year. This was an embarrassment to members of the REC, and I'm sure it may be amongst the other things which were being sorted.
The 2024 budget of the Northwest Regional Assembly is projected at 5.6 billion francs in both income and expenditure, as the Peace Development Initiative is set to be on the rails, according to divisional presentations.
Bamenda. And of course, we are getting information from Annie Collins, Cambe Road Access this morning. Mr. Zemkwe, a teacher by profession and a staff of the Divisional Delegation of Secondary Education in Cambe, was a victim of an armed attack when unknown gunmen opened fire on their vehicle while they were meandering through the Ntaba Hill in Du subdivision on their way to Cambe. That is in the northwest region of the country. Very gruesome pictures indeed, and we will not want to show you any of such pictures. We'll be coming back digitally with that information as we will be coming up with more news. And so with just 2 weeks to Christmas, Cameroonians are already bracing up as the towns are already glittering and gradually dressed up in Santa Claus gadgets. Christmas trees, ring bells, and lightnings have occupied untenanted hitherto shops in some of the business centers. And Ari Christie is telling us that one of such centers is in DOUALA.
As Christmas draws near, shops are already filled with an avalanche of decorations. Stocks are available, waiting for buyers. There are new items at the market. For example, we have Christmas trees, rings, and design goods for 2024. The prices vary as from 1,000 to 1,500 francs. It depends on the kind of goods. Many people are already visiting the different shops and hypermarket chains to purchase Christmas decorations. Some prefer to start decorating their homes early to get the feeling of the birth of Christ. The products are very good and the prices are affordable.
Last year the market was so choked, but this year it's so free. I just came to bought it now because I have a lot of work to do. That's just all.
However, not everyone sees the need to decorate their homes for Christmas. Some rather prefer to budget more on food, clothing, and other expenses.
Of this year, I have my children old. These years, I manage to invest my money in other things.
In the city of DOUALA, Christmas preparations are in full swing. With 2 weeks left for Christmas, the entire city is adorned with beautiful decorations, creating a joyful and festive atmosphere.
Oh, thanks very much, Ari Christine. Wrapping up with the 6:15 news on Canal International. I've been Kijang Henry Atimbe, thanking you graciously for being there with us. Tomorrow is another day. Goodbye.